All right. Well, good morning. This is our first masterclass. And like I mentioned before I hit record, bear with me. This is the first time I've ever shared a different screen and done all the things, but it's really good content and I'm excited to share it with y'all. So we will go ahead and get started. Good morning, Beth.
Morning.
All right. So hopefully you have some pen and paper ready to go. All right. So can y'all see my screen? Like a PowerPoint? Very good. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I wanted to welcome you to this month's masterclass. We're going to focus on balancing our business and life. My desire is for you all to have a thriving business in the long term. And of course, we're about Together We Rise, building a legacy. But in order to do that, we need to be working from a place of peace and priority and balance. And I know that many of you, and myself included, have had a lot of family things going on, whether it's weddings, new babies, caring for our parents, taking care of kids, taking them to sports and activities, or kids going off to college. And so a lot of times our lives might feel kind of out of balance. So we've got, and sometimes that causes us to put our business on the back burner. But your business is what you started because you have a family that needs extra income for weddings and new babies and caring for parents and kids in sports and kids going to college, right? So that's the whole reason we have our businesses. So we've got to find the balance so that we can build a legacy and have that consistent income so that we can help with those things that we started our businesses for in the first place, right? So get your pen and paper ready, settle in, and just be open to some new mindsets, some new strategies that might help you find that balance between your life and your business. All right. So look over these limiting beliefs. Some of you may relate to some of these. I can't give it 100% to my business and still be a good mom. Or if I'm succeeding in one area, I must be failing in another. Or I don't have enough time in the day just to do it all. I think that one probably resonates for a lot of us. Or balance means that everything has to be equal, or that sometimes you just feel like you can't have balance, or that maybe more hours means more success. Well, you are the one that determines what your 100% looks like. And you can frame this around your goals and your current season of life, whether you're caring for parents or have littles, wherever you're at. You can have balance in your life and see progress in your business and vice versa. But you have to have the ability to create time for the things that are important. So balance is about recognizing when certain areas need more focus and adjusting that accordingly. You can be highly productive and be happier and less stressed at home if you find that balance. So which limiting belief are you choosing to believe around balance? Is there something here that kind of resonates with you? Feel free to unmute if there's any of those or maybe there's something else that maybe if you feel like is a limiting belief. Anyone have anything to share on that?
Sometimes I wish I had a couple more hours in the day. But
Yeah.
I don't have enough time in the day to do it all, especially when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and got to drive, 40 minutes into work and, then another 40 minutes home. And I just wish and then, I feel like when I get home from work, I need an hour just to like decompress and have some time to myself. But I know I need to do some reach outs or,
Right.
a couple more hours would be nice.
Yeah, agree. Were you going to say something, Mika?
Yeah, I guess mine is about balance and everything can't be equal.
Yeah, right.
In my life. So I have to be very, prioritize, put first things first. And, excuse me, gosh, I haven't talked much yet today. but I have to, put first things first. And then also like some days the balance is more plexus. Some days the balance is more dance team. And every day is, except for Saturday and Sunday, of course, is my 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 job. So
Yeah. Plus your family and your grandma and all the things, right? Yeah. I hear you on all of that. All right. Well, look, I want you to look at these pictures. So looking at these pictures, you can believe that you can have balance in your life and still see progress in your business. These ladies, I mean, look at Bridget Ryan. She has 8 kids. Brenda Martin, 10 kids, and then they're starting to have grandkids and all these things. So your mindset has to be that you can produce more without compromising balance. You're choosing the thought that we can't have balance in our lives, but that's just a lie that you're choosing to believe. It's not true. So these women are just a few examples of people who've had built a business and raised families. And if they can, you can. So if you don't think it's possible, your business will always feel like it's pulling you away from your most precious priorities, which are ultimately, like we said, the reason you're doing your business in the first place, which is your family. All right. So now let's get into strategy. One of the best ways to create balance in your life is to identify your big rocks. These are the non-negotiable things in your life, the things that matter the most to you that should be scheduled first. So look at these pictures in the rock with the rocks in the jars. The one on the left, when you fill your time with the sand first and then the little rocks, and then you try to put the big rocks in there, which are the biggest priorities in your life, there's not room, right? So we need to figure out what those non-negotiables are. What are our big rocks, the things that this is always going to come first in my life? So I want you to take about a minute, write down 3 things in each category, in your family, in your self-care, that are your non-negotiables. Now, this isn't about your business yet. This is just your personal non-negotiables. So I'm going to give y'all about a minute to do that. You may have more than 3, but at least 3. All right. Now I want y'all to unmute. Tell me what you put in each category as your non-negotiables. What'd you put for family? Like for family, for me, date nights. It's very important for me and Todd to have our date nights. Going to church is a non-negotiable for me. Something that we've really started to do is have dinners, family dinners. Self-care non-negotiables would be doing your workout, getting your gym time in for me, devotion time, prayer time, those kind of things. So tell me what y'all put in your categories. Feel free to unmute. Anyone?
I'm just sitting here trying to get my notes on. I don't have pen and paper, so I was trying to use my notes on my phone, but I can't get it to work. But I talk to my kids daily. That's a priority. Spend time together when we can, when it works, at least monthly.
Yep.
Um,
What are some of your self-care non-negotiables?
Yeah,
Getting your steps.
exercise. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Sleep.
Yeah. Very good. Jamie, Mecca, what'd y'all put?
Well, when I started, I was like instead of like activities in the family side, I was listing like my roles more so than activities, but just like mom, wife, and Nana.
Mhm.
And I feel like those are, for me, they're like hit or miss depending on who needs me that day.
Right.
But then self-care, I put my plexus supplements, regular chiropractic care, and something I started about a year ago is I get a massage once a month.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Beth's a big believer in that as well. What'd you
Yeah,
put,
yeah.
Jamie?
Okay, for non-negotiables, I mean, I don't have any choice and it just takes up a huge part of my day with the commute and everything. At night, catching up with family, Claire usually, and then Brock later on at night. And then coincidentally, we've started doing dinners on Saturday night, like Connor and Avery will come over and we'll grill or something. And then Mika just was talking about her roles. Yeah, mom and wife, soon to be Gigi, For my self-care, this, I don't know, it seems trivial, but I get my nails done every 10 days. Claire does my nails and it's a 2-hour process. And so I have to make sure what night is going to work best for her and me. And then she and I catch up and talk and things.
It's a good time to do that.
Yeah, I need my decompression time after work, like I mentioned earlier. And then I listen to Emily Gibson calls. And that's pretty much all I listen to in my car. I don't listen to the radio. I listen to those type of things all the time on my commute. And then my supplements, especially with my recent menopause changes. I've been really learning more and more each day almost about
Yeah.
how I should have been treated better. And I'm looking forward to feeling better as that unfolds.
Very good. Those are all really good things. And that's your non-negotiables. That's the things that are the most important. So now we're going to identify our pebbles. So these are like smaller, but still important things. And, looking at this, you might have thought something was a big rock, but maybe it needs to be moved more to like a pebble. So jot down what you feel are your pebbles in each category. So like for me, under self-care, fixing my hair and my makeup. Like working from home, sometimes that's something that, doesn't necessarily happen. Or, movies and TV time. Like I really enjoy that. Like we like to watch a lot of reality shows, so but it's a time where we all sit and we do the things. So that's more of a pebble. Like if I don't get to do that, it would be okay, kind of thing. But so what would be some things in those categories? I'll give y'all about a minute to jot a couple things down there. And still, this isn't business related. This is just your personal things. As you finish jotting things down, just unmute and tell me what you put there.
Well,
And
I'm
I see
wondering,
Andrea. I didn't see Andrea was on. Hi, Andrea.
I'm
So,
wondering what category like uh church goes into, like, because that's a big one for me. Like that should be, what category, because I didn't
that's a
list that.
rock.
Because I
I put
didn't.
that as a rock for me.
Well,
Like to
rock,
me,
but in family, because that's where, because it's just me, you know what I'm saying? Uh,
I put it under
self-care.
family. I think it's more falls into like even though if it is just you going, I would think more family, just because, because you not only go to church, you have worship practice and,
Right. Right.
those, yeah.
It could also be like your self-care because it's your spiritual health.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Andrea, you can also unmute. I didn't realize you were on. I had to hit my little down arrow. I'm like, oh, someone else is on here. All right. Do you want to share, Andrea, what you've put in either your rocks or your pebbles?
I'll be honest, for me, I'm finding it kind of hard to like figure out what to consider as a pebble in my family category, just because I've for so long just tried to prioritize everything. But for me, for pebbles, I kind of put like youth leadership, mentoring. I can kind of choose when I meet with my kiddos
Mhm.
for that. Maybe, and then I put not doing as many like little mini vacations or outings with Will. And then for self-care, I had getting my hair done, not going out as much with friends, instead of maybe staying in.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
Well, and it's one of those things too, you still want to have that time with your friends, so, but if, something with your family is more important, more of your big rock, that might have to be more of a pebble, like if fitting in the time kind of thing. So, all right. So now we got to talk.
I
Go
have one
ahead.
that I put as a pebble in family, and that was cleaning. I got a cleaning lady a while back, and that
Mary?
is taking something off my plate. It's totally worth it.
Yes. I gave up the lawn a couple of years ago. It was the best decision ever. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the sand. So the sand, these are distractions. Sorry, my cat just jumped up here. So if you try to put the sand in first, like you can see the jar on the left, then you're not going to have the room, you're not going to have the energy for the big rocks. So what are some distractions, maybe 1 to 3 distractions? We're going to talk about all that here in a second, and just know that stuff that you don't have to eliminate or feel guilty for doing, but it's stuff that is the extras, right? So like when you look at the jar on the right, like this, you put the sand in last, if that makes sense. So we need to figure out our big rocks and our pebbles, and then the sand can go in. So like for me, distractions, I love to read. I like to read books. I can get sucked into TikTok, especially political things right now can start to consume me. But like that is something I can eliminate. Now, books is something I enjoy and I don't want to eliminate, but it's something that I'd need to find the time to put in once I've figured out all my other non-negotiables. So just off the top of your head, what's some of the sand in your life? You can unmute.
Yeah. Social media can be a lot of sand.
Yep.
Can be a sandstorm.
No doubt.
Yes.
And TV for me, like I could go the rest of my life without TV.
Mhm. Yeah. What's some other sand? Would you write down, Jamie or Andrea?
Well, since discovering TikTok this year, I call it the world's biggest time suck because
Yes.
oh my gosh. And whatever topic. Yeah, right now, of course, political things, but my goodness. Um, it's funny because TV time I put as a pebble, but actually it's more of a sand. But at the same time, it's kind of when Brock and I sit down at the end of the night and watch just for a little bit. Maybe we'll watch the football game that's on or something. And then Facebook, of course, is another, you could just scroll forever. And then this sounds silly, but my dogs,
Yeah.
dogs are a huge part of our family, but sometimes, if I'm being honest, they're an interruption.
Mhm. Yeah.
Love them to death, don't want to give them up. So it's a balance.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I'm like that too. Like TV, if I'm home by myself, like I don't turn it on, but it is one of those things that our family enjoys, watching Survivor or, those kind of things together. And we all like to sit and do. So if it's just up to me, like it's off, but it is those special moments. So yeah, I hear you on that. All right. Any other thoughts? We'll move on. Do you have anything there, Andrea?
I kind of had like playtime with Will just because sometimes, like, I love my kid and he takes a lot of my time. And sometimes I think being a single parent, like, I'm coming to the realization that, like, I have let him monopolize my time. And so now trying to get him to do like independent play or like find something to do, like especially while I'm on my meetings for Plexus or um, trying to have a conversation for a sale, like a lot of times he'll want my attention. So trying to figure out things with that.
Yeah, it's hard when we have littles. On the Jewel call yesterday, Jill Renfro was leading it, and her little boy came in the room, and she had to just stop what she was doing and talk to him, and then she put him in her lap, and yeah, it's just one of those things. But that's one of the beauties of this kind of business too, is that we can intermingle some of that sometimes. All right. So we've got to shift our mindset around balance. Balance isn't about giving 100% to everything at all times. It's about prioritizing and focusing on what matters most in each moment. We have to acknowledge that different seasons in life and business will require different levels of focus. But you can create that harmony between your business and life by staying present in whatever role you're in at the time, whether you're in your mom role, your employee role, your businesswoman, spouse, friend. Um, you know, you just kind of have to reframe it. The misconception people have is thinking of balance in terms of hours. You have a quantity expectation versus a quality expectation. Average American spends about a third of their time sleeping, a third of their time working, and that's if you're working 40 hours a week, and then a third of their lives doing other stuff like spending time with family and hobbies and health. The thing is, we aren't intentional with our time, and the same person who says they don't have enough time with their family is also watching an average of 4 hours of TV a day or get stuck in the TikTok scroll. And, so the solution is just keeping an eye on the quality of progress in those major life areas. And just understand and be okay with different seasons requiring different things from you. Like I'm currently in a season where I have, a kid in college, adult kids living with me, new grandbaby. So, sometimes I feel my time's being pulled in many different directions. But so that's made me have to reassess my schedule of when I prioritize working and things like that. But I can assure you that if I have time with Eliana, that's precious. And my business is the last thing on my mind during that when I'm holding that baby. So it's about finding the balance and not shaming yourself when, you are putting other things first. So, all right. So we've all talked about time blocking before, right? But this can be like a superpower. You can have all the ambition in the world, But ambition without a schedule is pointless. Otherwise, you just keep thinking about it and thinking about the things you need to do, but you don't ever put it into action. But I want us to be not just dreamers, but doers. So you can say, I want to enroll 4 this month, or I'm going to enroll 8 this month. But to me, I say, okay, show me where you're scheduling the time to do that. You can say, we can all say, and I'm speaking to the choir, right? You know, we can say we want to do it, but if we're not blocking off the time that it takes, it's not going to happen. Your schedule is what props everything else up. Ambition without a calendar just does not work. So time blocking is a powerful tool to help you create structure in your busy life. By setting specific time for work and family and personal activities, we can focus on what matters without feeling scattered or pulled like, important things are falling through the cracks. So we have to develop like a habit or routine where that's happening. Like we have to make time blocking a priority. I bet there's a major dream of yours that you haven't been giving the discipline to schedule. Like I said, speaking to the choir, but if you haven't been managing it through like managing your time, we can have the dream. It's just we're never going to get there if we're not making that time to prioritize it. So this time blocker, I have as a PDF, and I can share it afterwards. And maybe you just use your calendar to time block. But just looking at this, you can see that she scheduled here a business block 1 and a business block 2. But you can block the time, but then you've got to figure out, like, what am I doing in that time, right? So let's start thinking now about our business in terms of the rocks, the pebbles, the sand. Okay. So get out your paper and just brain dump for 1 minute. What are the things that you have to do to effectively work your business? Reach outs, follow-ups, all the things, like, right, just brain dump it out really quick. We'll spend about a minute doing that, and then we'll move on from there. All right, we got about 10 more seconds. All right. Jamie, unmute. What did you write down?
Mine are reach outs and then follow-ups. And then a big priority to me is what am I posting on social media for the day? Because some days I struggle with that more than others. And then a non-negotiable is taking my supplements. Not only so that I'm a product of the product, but so I feel better. And I can honestly say I feel better.
Yep. Mika, what'd you write? In addition to what she may have already said.
I just said, reach out, send samples, post follow-ups, conversations that are ongoing, and coaching my team.
Good. Beth, what you got?
Sending out my birthday messages, showing up in my team chat thread, customer follow-up, working on monthly strategy and weekly strategies, sampler interaction and follow-up with them, team helping them work with their goals, social media, personal development.
Yeah, very good. Andrew, you have anything that they didn't mention on your list?
No, they covered everything I had on my list.
Okay. Yeah. That sums up about everything too that I had written down. Okay. So now we want to label these things. What are the rocks? Rocks are the results producing activities, the things that are the non-negotiables, like what's moving the needle. Okay. Your pebbles are your like admin type things, team support kind of things. And then, you know, your sand, that's your personal development, those kind of things. So just take a second and like take your list and just kind of label them. Like what's your RPAs, what's support, and what's an accessory. So just jot those out to the side of each thing. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is categorize them. So making a category of like label your paper or headings, you know, put headings maybe like admin, perks. Admin, to me, like admin things would be perks report, credit card declines, any of those other like things that you need to do. Like we want to basically categorize it, like the social media things, the reach outs and follow-ups, putting those things in different categories. Team support, those kind of things. And so here's the next thing is what I felt was my biggest takeaway from this, because we've talked about time blocking before, and we've done it. We've done trainings on it. A lot of us do it regularly, or at least somewhat have some type of a time block that we do. But what they suggested to do is what they call batching it. So now that we've identified it, what we're going to do is batch it. So batching is a time-saving technique and strategy that allows you to focus on similar tasks all at once instead of jumping from one activity to the other. This is going to help you reduce the mental energy lost from switching tasks and increasing your overall productivity. So like instead of like, okay, I got to think about social media and I got to do my reach outs and then I need to check my credit card declines. Like when you batch it, your brain can focus on that particular thing at one time. So for example, batch your content creation. Like, so set aside an hour or two once a week to create all your social media posts rather than trying to come up with something every day. So that way, if you time blocked, okay, Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock is my social media batch. That's when I'm going to figure out what I'm going to post for the week. My brain is going to focus on that only, right? You're not thinking, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to post on Monday. Plus I need to, who am I following up with? Right. And then batch your follow-ups, dedicate a specific time on a specific day to connect with customers. Like we like to talk about follow-up Fridays, you know, like, so does that make sense? Like when you put things in a category, you can then batch it together. To me, it just helps your brain focus on what you're trying to do. So this focused approach ensures that you like kind of stay in that zone. And then that way you're going to accomplish more in less time. So then once you've batched it, then you put it on your time block. So once you've figured out your, time blocking is first of all, filling in all your family things, what you have going on, all those non-negotiables, and then finding those little, Jill Renfro calls it 30-minute power pockets. When are your little power pockets throughout the week? Okay. And so then during this power pocket of time has been that I'm going to figure out my social media stuff. This little power pocket of time is when I'm going to do my reach outs. This is this kind of thing. So just creating those blocks of time to do each batch, whether it's daily or weekly, whatever works for you. So you might have questions about that. It just helps your brain focus a little more, which makes a lot of sense to me. Anybody have questions or thoughts on that?
I'll say something real quick.
Okay.
Even like I've found for productivity purposes, if I have different to-do lists, which is a form of batching, but on a larger scale, if I have like a to-do list for different areas of my life, and I just say, I'm going to spend an hour on this to-do list with all similar things or all, you know what I mean? Like that
Mhm.
does help me be more productive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same kind of concept. Yeah. Getting your mind like zoned in on this for right now. Because otherwise, I can sometimes feel like I have all these balls in the air and they're just like, ugh, I can't catch them all. So I liked the idea of batching and doing different things at different times.
That's how I operate. I don't often, I know we talk about doing daily IPAs, but for me, a lot of times it's like a sitting down and like, let's just talk about birthday messages. For me, I don't necessarily do it every day, but every 3 days, and then I'll just knock it out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Same with, yeah, same with my social media. Like I'll sit down and I'll kind of, I kind of have a plan, like look through things I've saved, or I think about, okay, what's going on product wise in the company. So like, I would plan a lot of like liver detox posts. That's almost all I posted about for 2 months. And that's almost what everybody started with.
Mhm. Yep.
So like having a plan. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Very good. All right. Any other thoughts or questions on that before we move on? All right. So we're going to close with a little bit of mindset work. So as we're creating space for our business, it doesn't mean that you have to take time away from your family. Y'all, mom guilt is a thing, or wife guilt, however you want to label it, right? But the belief that you're focusing on your business or personal goals and neglecting your family, this is a mindset issue. It's not a reality. We've just got to reframe the guilt. Your success in your business can positively, in fact, impact your family by providing financial stability, freedom, opportunity to be a role model. So instead of feeling guilty, we need to just recognize that you're creating a better future for your family. So be present. The quality of the time you spend with your family matters. When you're with your family, be fully engaged and present. Put your phone away, like be with them. Even if it's just short little pieces of time, like Jamie, she's like, this is my time where I do my nails. This is the time that Claire and I have just to just talk, her and them one-on-one, uninterrupted. You'll communicate boundaries. Set clear boundaries with your family about your work time. I've had to do that before. Um, but just understand that you may feel guilty, but we've got to reframe that and just understand that you can be present with your family and still build a very successful business. You just got to find that balance like we've talked about. So, all right. Sometimes it might require that you delegate some things. Um, you know, we can't do everything ourselves. Like Mika said, someone is now cleaning my house, and that's fine. That's, if that frees up more time for you to, be with your family or, work your business, whatever that looks like for you. Sometimes you just have to delegate or ask for help in your house. Another mindset trap is thinking that you're going to rev up and reach your goals when things slow down, right? Sometimes like, well, things just slow down. When things finally just calm down, I'm going to get this business going. Well, newsflash, it's never going to slow down. Life's always going to have challenges. But if we have a routine and discipline and, make time and do these batching ideas, you can reach your goals, no matter what season of life you're in. All right. Sometimes our secret weapon is no. There's been times when I've said yes to something, and like I'll say yes to something on October 25th or 26th, whatever the date is, for something in December. And then when that day in December comes, I'm like, oh, why did I say yes to this? Right? We've all kind of done that before. So sometimes there just have to be sacrifices, and just, it's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. I'm such a people pleaser. Like sometimes I feel like I just, yes. Oh, can you do that? Yes. No. You just have to be like, sometimes it has to be no. Right. All right. What what's something maybe you're saying yes to that you should be saying no to? Anything come to the top of your head? Anybody want to unmute with that one? Or maybe you've done in the past and you regretted it and learned your lesson from it.
Being on too many different community committees for me,
Mm,
I have learned the hard way.
yep. Yeah. It starts stretching you really thin, doesn't it? What were you gonna say, Micah?
being,
Oh.
oh, go ahead, Micah.
Oh no,
No.
go ahead.
You go first,
Oh.
Beth.
Oh, just being a musician, like I get asked to do everything under the sun, and so I have learned that I've had to say no.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And it's freeing
Yeah.
when you do,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine is committees at work. I used to be the teacher that was on every extra committee, and I'm just over that. And so I just try to do my job and not volunteer for the extra at school.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For
I just
sure.
I just relieved myself of being treasurer for the PEA this week, and it was so freeing, passing that box off.
Yep. That's a great example. Did you have anything, Jamie?
Well, it's interesting. I'm almost to the point where I'm gonna have to create some boundaries for my business time because a couple weeks ago, I was in the middle of doing some stuff. I just sat down and gotten going on it, and my mom came over, and I said, "Well, I'm kind of in the middle," and she's like, "Oh, well, take a break for a minute." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to set some boundaries here," because she doesn't she doesn't understand. And then, at first when I started my business, I think my daughter had some jealousy of my time, and Emily said something once on one of her calls that I thought this was really interesting, was her daughter gives her a lot of stress about the time she spends with work. And she looked at her daughter one day and said, "I love you, and I'm doing this,"
Mm-hmm.
referring to her work. So I thought, I like that. So the boundary thing.
That's a great example too. It's just, but I think that shows them that it's okay when they come across situations to say no and to prioritize their time. You're showing them that. Okay. So final thoughts. So balance is possible. The question is just, does your calendar match your dreams and goals? Do you have routines that support your desires? Knowledge and like great ideas, it's basically worthless if you don't implement them. Execution is the greatest differentiator between people that achieve goals and people that don't. So, every one of us, we have the ability to hit the next rank, double our income, triple our income. We just have to apply it. We have to make the time like I said before, oh yeah, I'm going to enroll 4, I'm going to enroll 8, I'm going to, win the iPad or whatever the incentive is, or I'm going to get on that cruise ship. Okay, well, where are you finding the time to do the things to get to there? Preaching to the choir. The barrier standing between you and life, the barrier standing between you and the life you're capable of living is just lack of consistent execution. And I'm one to do the same. So what we have here is an execution problem, but we can have it all. We can do it. We can make it the time. We can prioritize things. All right. Progress, not perfection, right? Just moving the needle forward a little bit at a time. That's what we need to be focusing on. And just remember, you're not just building a business, you're creating a life of purpose, freedom, and fulfillment for both you and your family. So, final thing is mark your calendars. Our next masterclass is going to be November 16th, 9 a.m. We're going to be talking about the power of persistence on that day. So that basically boils down to figuring out the things that are holding you back from reaching your goals. So that's what we're going to be talking about next month. I would love for y'all to give me some feedback on this one. What were your thoughts?
Great. I enjoyed it. Mhm.
Hopefully you could take one little tidbit away, whether it's just realizing, where your big rocks and pebbles are in your family life and your business. And, that visual to me of the jars, when you put the sand in first, you can't fit all the other things. So you've got to figure out what those priorities are, whether it's with your family life or business life. Get those things done first, and then you have the time for the sand, the TikTok scrolling, and all the things. So, all right, ladies. Well, I appreciate y'all being on. I will get this uploaded for people who couldn't be on today. And I will see y'all Monday night for our next team call.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks,
All right.
Val.
Yep.